this to me? You Bene Gesserit made me a freak!
He has some points.
I would not have let you hurt my friends.
Just look at here! What's up, girl? Oh, that's so creepy.
Stop! Cut the rope! Give me the knife!
Okay.
Your pitch was too forced.
That's not the time. Not the time for this. I feel like it's just gonna be a more desert when you get to the top. Oh no, it's just destruction. Oh, it's this bitch.
Could you eat any more grossly?
Ugh. Just like chew with your mouth closed, maybe? I mean, did he not have a mother?
I said I'd set her free. That you could join her.
Set her free as in die? Set her free from this mortal life. Fun.
It's like, whoever makes deals with these types of people and trusts they're gonna deliver their end of the bargain.
No, like, he literally came here to kill an entire, like, population that's here. And then you're like, oh, I'm sure he's gonna let my wife go.
I know. And it's like you betray the family you served. I mean...
Your son is dead, your concubine is dead. Night the house of Atreides falls.
I wonder if the shield protects you from, like, poisonous gas or, like, diseases. He did it! Do they know?
I feel like she can sense that he died.
I think they both can.
Or maybe it's because the doctor included the official ring. Maybe, like, that's a sign that he knew that they were going to kill him. I don't know exactly.
But is he actually dead, like the big guy? Please tell me this was all for nothing.
The Emperor sent us here to die.
Did he? Or was it just like these other dudes who decided to kill you?
He's saying, like, the Emperor did that on purpose. Like, set them up so this would happen.
Yeah, but then what would be his motive?
To weaken both houses.
But like he's already
And
the
stay in
Emperor. Oh, I see. Maybe if they had like taken over the desert, the air, and the earth, maybe they could have become the Emperor then. And dethroned him or something. Well, might as well have a good time now.
It's like, I mean, our whole house just fell. Might as well get high as heck.
Yeah.
Hallucinate a little bit.
Yeah, just like for a moment, let's just forget the tragedy that we've just been through. Let me just stare at Zendaya for a hot sec. Honestly, is she even gonna show up in this movie? Is she like in part 2? This is all of her roles. It's just this. She's like, look, more desert. Oh. I see. Why are they fighting each other? And how do they know who to kill? They look exactly the... Oh. Oh. What is going on? Power couple right there.
Get off me! You did this to me! You Bene Gesserit made me a freak!
He has some points. At least it's not sweat.
Sweat and tears.
Oh. Spoke too soon.
My Lord Duke.
He's like, is it too early to apply for the position of your new father?
It's like, can I take over, please?
Yes. I would love to become your father figure from now on.
It's gotta be crazy, like, having someone who you're just, like, friends with, almost as equals, than, like, bowing down to you, like, showing you service.
Are you sure?
You cross swords with the Sardaukar? You know it.
See, that's why he was saying that the Emperor was setting them up, too, because the Sardaukar, I believe, like, worked directly for the Emperor. So he's saying if he sent his best warriors to help, like, this was totally a setup for us to get destroyed.
Yeah, that makes sense. So, like, the Emperor took them out, and then maybe
Because they were saying House Atreides was getting really strong. Like, their house was really growing in power.
they had to be taken out. No competition for the Emperor, then.
Which is, you know, honestly, respect to the guy for his strategy. I mean, pretty ruthless and terrible, but good strategy.
Yeah. It's like, no wonder he became the Emperor. Like, I can see his moves, and he's doing them. He's making all the right moves.
Will you find still suits to fit our visitors?
Yes, Liet.
Shamir, coffee service, please.
Of course, Liet.
Did you say coffee service?
I think so.
Well, that is hospitality, bringing coffee.
It's like, where did you find coffee beans out in the desert? Oh, honestly, they look so cool. Like, I love them just floating down.
I know, they may be evil, but it's like, they have style. I mean, come on.
They're quite menacing. Oh, that is so cool. Oh my god. The other team was way cooler. Sorry, y'all. You had your little floating down, but you got nothing on the
you
people.
had your cool entrance,
Yeah.
but they were ready.
They were ready for it. They knew what you were doing, and they were lying in wake under the sand, like, absolutely badass. Why did he take it off? Don't die.
No! Again!
I specifically told you not to die. Oh, this was his vision. It was this
Yeah.
shot. Oh, God. It's fine. It's a scratch. Get up. That seems unfair that they have... See, I told you. Just a scratch. It's all good. He's fine. He's fine. I liked him.
I know. It's like when I saw that, I was like, oh wow, so they can kill off main characters in this movie too. First Oscar Isaac, then him. Like,
I know.
okay.
Like when he says that he had a vision, you expect that to be like a misdirect, that it's not actually gonna come true.
Yeah.
But they were like, no, he dreams the future. It's all 100%. I'm upset. Is that the worm?
I would assume so from the amount of sand moving.
Awesome. That's all we needed. You know, we didn't have anything like enough going on as it is.
Yeah.
We needed
yeah,
the
no
worm.
problems.
Sweet. Oh yeah. Great. Sounds like a good weapon against a 400-meter long worm. You're just gonna grapple to the sand and like try and not fall into it? Okay, well. Okay. Sure.
I serve only one master. His name is Shai Hulud.
Who? Oh. Oh, that is such a horrible death. Oh. Well, at least she took them down with her.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. At least she killed them
Yeah.
going out like a badass.
Yeah. Like, good for her, but honestly, I think I would have just rather had my throat slashed instead of, being eaten by a worm.
I'll let you guys live. Just kill me quickly.
It's fine, you can get away with my murder, it's all good. Just don't let me get eaten by the worm.
Nothing survives such a storm. They're dead.
Oh, you dumbass. You always need to find the bodies.
Exactly. Like, that's a rule every villain needs to read in the 101 rulebook.
Send word to Katie Prime to begin selling us.
Can't believe he's still alive. Ugh. Oh. I hate his bath. Like, it looks very disgusting.
Yeah. What? I'm assuming it's something to do with, like, healing from the poison, but it looks so gross.
I know. Just the absolute silence. I really, really like that.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, I love...
I mean, like you mentioned, like, the sound design, like you said earlier, is, like, really good. And, like, even moments like that where it's totally gone.
Yeah, I'm glad that they decided not to put, like, a score in for that moment. And then
Yeah.
they're putting it now, and now it's fine. But like that moment was like really important to just be quiet. He finally put the mask on. I'm so proud of him. Took him so long. I think he was enjoying getting high.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. It's like he's having too much fun with the spice. It's like, okay, now I can't afford to be tripping. I need to be watching out for the worms.
But as soon as we're safe, this mask is coming off. Oh, finally. Waited 2 hours for this. She's finally here. Oh, this is a vision again? Honestly. Okay, break time's over. Let's get the hell out of here.
He's from sand.
Run!
Well, why were you tapping on it, you silly goose? Here it was like, we can't walk like humans. Oh my god! Check this out! Oh, let's not make an orphan out of this kid, okay? Well, that was terrifying.
Yeah, a little bit. You know, just another casual night in the desert.
I don't know how they kept their cool. I love their little like sign language.
I know. I think it's so cool.
Oh. He's just crouching over there.
The boy is young. He can't learn our ways. He may have sanctuary. But the woman isn't trained. I'm too old to learn.
That's very ageist of you. Oh. Duncan said they fight very fiercely, so I don't see this going well. Okay, let's go, Jessica.
Peace. I judged hastily.
Are you trying to say sorry? Is that what you're saying?
My bad.
I would not have let you hurt my friends.
She's finally here! Sup, girl?
They say you're the Mahdi, but you look like a little boy.
Take charge of the newcomers. See that they are safe on the journey. Let's go.
I will not have them.
Well, no one asked you.
I accept her, champion.
Oh, this dude is just causing trouble, like, just...
I know. There's always got to be that guy, right? Can't go along with the practical route.
It's just like, you know what, this was too nice. No one died, I don't like this, like... Oh. Not gonna lie, it seems kind of unfair that he gets to see the fight and he can, like, adjust accordingly. Seems like an unfair advantage.
It's like, that's cheating.
Exactly.
Don't be frightened.
Oh yeah, why would you be scared?
When you take a life, you take your own.
That's interesting.
Yeah, because we've seen 2 people do that already. Like, his dad took his own life while taking someone else's life. And the lady with the worm.
And yeah.
And Jason Momoa, kind of.
Yeah, even in his last thing. Yeah, you're exactly right.
So maybe that's why maybe they're not dead. Maybe they come back.
But I want you to die with honor.
She has like 0 faith in him.
This will be a great honor for you to die holding it.
I love her. She really is just like, you can't win, sweetie. It's weird that she didn't like object to this.
The mom, Jessica?
Yeah.
I mean, I think they're in a pretty tough spot. Like, I don't think there's much that they would be able to do.
Yeah, but wouldn't you, like, as a parent, offer yourself as the fighter instead of your child?
Unless she has other ideas for him.
Oh, unless she knows what's gonna happen. Although, to be fair, she is pregnant, so it's like...
That's true, too.
Fashi. The boy doesn't know our rule. By yielding under the Amtal rule, only death is the test of that.
Well, that's a shitty rule.
Paul has never killed a man.
Arise.
Are they fine with this? Like, wasn't that their friend and this is just an outsider?
Yeah, but I just think like that's the rules of their challenge. Like they seem like a very savage people with very strict rules about honor and, you know, the harshness of life out here in the desert. Mm-hmm. And I do think they respect his strength too. I think there's something about that.
It's very interesting that they're just like, these are the rules, we have to accept him now.
I mean, come on, that has to be such a big moment for what's gonna happen moving forward. Like Paul's first kill.
Paul needs to get off world. You must have ways. You have smugglers, you have ships,
No.
you have...
Oh, he's so in love with her.
I mean, he's been dreaming about her for how long?
Alright, interesting.
Yep, so that's part one right there. So what do you think?
I really enjoyed it. I actually had no idea what to think going into it, so this was very surprising. Like, I don't know what I thought it was, but I feel like at the beginning I thought maybe this would be like a Romeo and Juliet storyline. I thought that, you know, like Zendaya and Paul would like fall in love, but then like their families are, you know, like at war or something. But then like his family turned out to be great.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, I really liked them. Like, that was actually a surprise. Like, I really thought they would be like, maybe not like fully bad, but I didn't think they were like nice.
Yeah.
So that was a surprise. And I like that they set it up for like the Emperor, that like he's gonna be like the big bad, and then they have to like rally together and then try and defeat him. I'm assuming is what they're planning to do for the next movies.
Yeah. Yeah, I am so interested to see like where this setup is going to take us for part two. You know, like it was so frustrating in the theaters when it cut to like the end of the movie. I'm like, really? Like, this is not even fair. I'm going to have to wait like what, 2.5 years maybe to go see what happens for the rest of the story.
Yeah, it's crazy. But it didn't, like when I saw part one, I thought it was gonna end on like a bigger cliffhanger. Like when we got to the ending fight scene between Paul and the other guy, I thought it was gonna end with like Paul getting hurt and then just lying on the floor like bleeding out, and then that's how it was gonna end.
Oh, that would have been so unfair.
I honestly thought that was what's gonna happen. I thought that maybe they were gonna do a whole like, oh, we can bring the characters that died back, like if you're gonna kill Paul. I was like, okay, so that they can bring back, like if you die and you kill someone while you're dying, maybe you can come back somehow.
Okay, that's interesting.
Like with what the lady was saying about the whole like, while you die you have to take a life or something like that. She was saying something similar, like in Paul's vision.
I think it was like when you take a life, you take your own.
Yeah.
Now, like,
okay.
I don't know. I haven't seen the original movie and I haven't read the book. I'm going to, so I will be finding out like where this leads. But to me, the way I see it, and I've heard people criticize this film saying like it kind of ends very abruptly, but I think it's a very appropriate end because I think there's a lot of emphasis on possibly Paul. I think he might turn evil. And I think there's like a moral, like I think that quote, I didn't notice it like as clear, it didn't stand out as much the first time watching it, but when you take a life, like you take your own, almost like you're losing that innocence or that goodness, and it could lead him down a dark road of violence. And he saw that vision of him like leading them and standing next to Zendaya, and I'm like, okay, like maybe this I think it's a very critical moment in his life when he first kills someone, and that's why like they would end the movie there. That's how I saw it. I could be wrong, that's just my theory.
Yeah, I really like that because truly like they put a big emphasis on it. Like he could have killed him like 2 or 3 times before he actually went for the kill, and it seemed like he only went for the kill when the moment, like right before he saw in his vision, like I think that was going to be the moment where he stabs him, like Paul gets stabbed, so that's why he was like, I can't mess around anymore. Like if I don't kill him now, he's gonna kill me. But by killing him, he still killed himself, which could be very interesting. It's like,
Yeah, you're
Well,
changed forever.
yeah.
You kill another man, you know.
and Zendaya seemed very like impressed by him, and I don't exactly know her role yet, so she could be like a bad influence on him for all we know.
Yeah. Yeah, I think she will be his link to really connecting with the Fremen and becoming one of them. And I just thought, I also thought it was so interesting that the mom, like immediately after watching him kill that guy, she's like, oh, we have to get off world. Like, we need to get out of here. Almost like she's either worried about him, like, going down that dark road, like with her visions, her premonitions, like she can see the path this might start him on, or she's worried about her child. Because couldn't that be a possible threat? I mean, this could be super dark for Paul to go down that road, but if she has another kid, that could be like a threat, you know, with royalty, right? Or with someone thinking that the other son is like the chosen prophet, you know.
That would be so insane if they go down that road.
Yeah.
Like, I wonder, like, do you know how many parts they're supposed to be?
I think it's just going to be 2 parts for Dune, the book. Now, the series, there's a ton, but I think, I could be wrong, but I think you could just do Dune and it tells a complete story of its own. Like, I don't think you need to necessarily make all the movies like, you know, something like Lord of the Rings where it doesn't make sense. So I think part 2 will kind of wrap up, at least to an extent, this story.
Okay, interesting. Okay, so now I get why part 1, I thought they were just like, I didn't realize part 1 meant like part 1 of the book.
Yeah.
I thought
yeah,
part 2, like they were just calling it that, but the next one was going to be the second book.
No. Apparently the book was so long, like, and they wanted to include a lot, so they decided to split it up instead of trying to cram it all in one. Which, to me, makes sense because I don't see scenes of this. It's a long movie as it is, and I'm like, you kind of needed those moments to care about the characters. There's so many different worlds and like names and houses. Like, you need to kind of have some time with them.
Yeah.
If they just rushed everything, I'd be like, well, I don't care about anything, or I don't get whose name, what house, what this, you know.
Honestly, I was actually going to say that this didn't feel like a book-to-movie adaptation to me. Like, a lot of the times you can feel like they cram so much into it, or you skip over stuff, but this felt like complete. Like, I was confused at parts, but I think it's just because of the scope of, like, this world, and, like, everything is completely different than what you have. Like, it's just fully science fiction, and I think that's normal. But I didn't feel like I don't know if you watch... You know what's funny? Have you seen the first Fantastic Beasts movie?
Yes, I have.
Even though that wasn't based on a book, if you watch that movie, it feels like it was, because it feels like so choppy and rushed. It feels like they were picking out stuff from a book to put in for it to make sense. But, like, it's funnily enough that it's not based on an actual book. Like, that was... So, like, that kind of a feeling. Like, I didn't have that with Dune that you usually get with, like, book-to-movie adaptations. So
that's a really good point.
Yeah, so I think they did a really good job with it. And I didn't feel, like, so lost. Like, I feel like people who read the book felt the exact same amount of lost at this point in the story as I feel right now.
Yeah, I mean, we're not at a complete place. Obviously, there's a lot of unanswered questions and things. And I watching it a second time, like, I was able to, like, oh, we're at this planet, we're at this world, like, pick up on things. I remember the first time it being like, oh, there's a lot of places, a lot of names, a lot of planets. You know, I don't know anything about this world. But like, that's a really good point. Like, it doesn't feel like other booked movie adaptations because they're not cramming, they're not, like, rushing through, like, oh, we have to include this part, because they did choose to split it up into two movies. I think that, to me, the sense I got, I mean, I'm a fan of this director, Denis Villeneuve. I thought visually, like, it's just a stunning, gorgeous movie with, like, colors and things like that. But I really liked, like, a lot of the, like, the technology and the locations felt very real, which I think was important because then when characters were in danger, like, I really felt anxious for them. Like, it didn't seem like too sci-fi, like, everything's sleek and CG, you know, where it just feels like you're watching computer graphics, like, play out on the screen. You're like, yeah whatever. You know, like, it felt like, oh, no, we're on another planet. Like, I buy this. I can see, like, mountains and structures and sand and, you know, weather-beaten technology.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just something that, to me, like, stood out with, like, the set designs. And, like, to me, I, like, give credit to the directors and the people working on all those departments, for really selling that. So I'm like, oh, when Paul's running through the desert, like, I'm worried. I'm like, dude, book it. Like, get away from that freaking worm, man.
Yeah, it looked like very realistic in a sense. Like, you really felt like you were there, and it was all like happening to these characters, and you were like worried for them. And then because they did have the guts to kill off big characters,
Yes.
you could be worried, you know? Like, there was precedence. Like, poor Oscar Isaac and Jason Momoa have both died, and that's kind of crazy that you would kill like two huge stars in the first part of your movie. Like,
yeah, exactly. Like, big characters, big actors, and that's a really good point too. Like, it makes you worried. You're like, okay, you are willing to go there. Like, that's where the story is.
Yeah, like,
was there? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, you wouldn't worry for Paul necessarily, because I don't think they would kill him because he's the driving force. But like, when the worm came, I was definitely worried for his mom. Like, I was like, they could kill her. So, yeah.
Was there any, like, one character or actor who stood out to you and you're like, okay, you were the person for me?
I don't know. I wish I could have seen more of Zendaya. Like, honestly, I thought she would have had like a bigger role in this. Like, because, I mean, I didn't even know about the other actors, and like, there are other big actors in this. But I knew about Zendaya. And she was the one who was like barely in it. So that was a little bit of a disappointment. I would have loved to see more of her.
Yeah.
But I did think like Timothy did a good job. Like, I thought he was very interesting in this role. Like, I don't think I've ever seen him in anything before, to be honest. I think this is my first movie with him. But I thought he did a good job. Like, I loved like he was very likable, even though he wasn't, like, he had his faults and like he's interesting, but I still kind of root for him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I want to see what he's gonna do next. Like, I wonder if he is this savior, or is he gonna lead people into like this new paradise that he's prophesized, or is he gonna go down a dark route? Like, I like his story, and I'm interested to see where it's gonna go.
Yeah, no, I'm very, very intrigued for like where his character is going to develop, and if he actually is this chosen one, or if he's going to use that as an excuse to justify like a holy war. You know, like, will he just use that to get the Fremen on his side because they believe in it, or is he like chosen by destiny or whatever like powers are in this world here?
Yeah, because he was talking about becoming the new emperor, like, so that there wouldn't be chaos. He needs to become the emperor. So that's very interesting that he's already like thinking about taking that kind of power. Yeah. Is he gonna like do that and then just justify it as like, no, but I will bring peace once I'm there? But then is he going to do that, or is he just gonna go crazy with power?
I don't know. I feel like it could be a dark story, which I love dark stories, to be honest with you. I love a good tragedy or a good character, you know, fall from grace. But I don't know. There were a few scenes where I don't know. I haven't seen a lot of Timothée Chalamet either. Like, I think I've seen him in maybe one or two movies. I can't remember. But there are a few scenes in the movie where he kind of like had a turn of character and like would like stare down, like the scene where the Bene Gesserit was having him like have his hand in the book, and there's a scene where like he's first feeling the pain, but then he like looks up and like stares her down. And there are a few scenes where I'm like, okay, like, you're not a skinny theater kid, like, I am taking you seriously, like, I buy that strength and almost like I don't know if it's intimidation, maybe a little possible menace. I really appreciate like how I could buy into a real threatening strength behind someone who, you know, if I saw him in an interview, I don't know if I would take him, you know, as like a threat. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh yeah, you're really talented, don't get me wrong, but, you know. But I liked how he was that into the performance that I was like, oh no, like, I'm buying you in this moment really well.
Yeah, I agree.
Same with like Javier Bardem. I don't know if you know, he was the leader guy in the Fremen. He like walked in and spat at the end. Like,
I loved him.
To me, like, I've seen him in other things like I mean, he's always amazing, but he was great. He didn't have that many scenes, but I'm like, dude, I want to see more of his character in part 2. And of course, Zendaya, like I said, They did a little misleading in the trailers. Like, they made it look kind of like you said, like she was really going to be a big part in this film. And it's like, she's really set up for part 2.
Yeah.
She had like 10 visions sparse throughout the movie, and then it was like, oh, hey, here I am at the very end. But
she had like 10 lines and then was out. It's just like, oh, how are you going to do my girl like that? Like, give her more screen time.
That's, I mean, they do follow the principle of like leaving you wanting more. You know, I guess they're going by that rule book. But I don't know. I was a big fan of it. As someone who didn't know the world watching it, I'm very like I said, like I'm going to be reading the books. I will be reviewing it. It just feels like a whole new kind of space world that I'm very interested in. Like, I'm interested in the different houses and the Emperor, like how it all works, the technology, like everything that was kind of revealed in this movie. I was like, I like this. This is interesting. This is a little bit different. It makes it its own thing. And I really want to see where they take it in part 2.
Yeah,
But
I can't wait. When is that supposed to come out? Years from now, I'm assuming.
I feel like it's going to be at least a couple years, because the studio didn't even greenlight it until after this one did well. And it's like, okay, so they weren't even starting it. And whenever that's the case, a big budget movie like this, it takes a while, unfortunately.
Yeah. Like, they probably didn't have like a script for it just yet. So like writing it, then okay, yeah.
Oh, well, I hope somebody wrote the script. It's like, that part you can get on. No, there's no COVID excuse. Sit behind that typewriter and type. You got source material and everything.
That's true.
If they announce that, like they're still in the writing process, I'm giving up. I'm gonna be like, dude, these actors are gonna be too old by the time part 2 comes around. It'll be like, you don't even look the same.
Wait, honestly, how old was supposed, like, how old is Paul supposed to be? I don't think they ever said. Is he like still supposed to be a teenager or 20s or?
I would guess early 20s to late teens.
Okay, so he is like an adult in this.
Like young adulthood, but
Okay.
I don't think he's a teenager.
Okay.
I could be wrong. I don't know the book. I'm just kind of based off his look. I think Timothy Chalamet was like 22 when they filmed it, maybe even younger.
Okay.
But
yeah, that was like, I was unsure of like the age of the character. Like, I mean, he wasn't treated that young, like as a 16-year-old or something, but he was still like kind of told what to do a lot of the time. So that's why I was like,
yeah.
could he still be, underage, or is he like a young adult? I'm unsure.
He might be, because you're right. Like, he was very much in the learning phase, like training, and even like the dad being like, hey, you should come to the meetings now. Like, it's time for you to learn and really see the politics and like how to rule, things like that.
Yeah. I don't know. I have like one critique as like a non-native English speaker. There were like a lot of moments where they were talking so like softly or mumbling that like a lot of times I just missed what they were saying, because it was just like, and then this is the moment when you're supposed to do, or so, like, it was just so weird. And I was just like, excuse me, could you please enunciate, because I don't know what you're talking about. Like, it was just, and then they would like add effects to the voice, and then I was just like lost. I was like, okay, and because sometimes they did speak like a different language, I was like, okay, is this English now? Like, am I supposed to be understanding, or are they speaking the different language?
Yeah, you're like, am I not hearing it because it's not loud enough in the sound mixing, or is it a different language I'm not supposed to know?
Yeah, so like definitely for the next one I'm putting on subtitles, because I was like lost sometimes. I was like, oh, I don't know what's happening.
Oh, I got you.
So I don't know. It just,
if you ever get around to watching Tenet, that is one.
I heard that
takes
one.
hard to hear to another level. I mean, I wish they had put subtitles in the theaters. I'm like, I need to understand what's happening. This movie is already confusing.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I love the scene when they use... I loved every time they use the voice. That's something I really want to see more of part 2. Just, like, when they were in the copter, like, being taken out to the desert, and they just had to get, like, Jessica's, like, mouth covering off so she could use the voice. Like, that to me was probably... might have been my favorite scene in the film.
It was really cool. I like the sound effects in a lot of the scenes and stuff as well.
Yeah.
I love that when I think it was Jessica's mom or something, like the one who was like in the black face thing, who tortured
the
Paul.
Bene Gesserit,
the
I think she was like the one with the Emperor. I think that's what they said when she showed up.
Yeah, so when it was her, like the bald dude and like the big dude, they were having like a conversation. I don't know, there was like a cool sound effect as well going on as well, when like they had like an effect on their voices, but then you cut to like different person and it was just like silent. Like, I don't know, I really enjoyed what they were doing with the sound in this one. Like, it was very interesting, like sometimes super jarring, but like in a good way. But like it was super loud in one scene and then you just cut somewhere else and it was just like so quiet.
Yes.
Like, I really enjoyed all like the effects on the voices, but also just like the effects they made for like the shields and the use of the music, and then sometimes the silence. Like, I liked that there was also no music for the end battle for most of it. It made it so realistic. Like, you were like, okay, this, anything could happen, right? Like, they really make you worry, because like, why is there no music? Why is there no like heroic music that like the hero is going to win? It's just complete silence.
Yeah, it feels like empty in a way that like builds the intensity.
Yeah, so I really enjoyed the sound design of this.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. I got the feeling like Denis Villeneuve, like as a filmmaker, like knew how to use all his tools to like really like highlight the emotions he wanted you to feel at the time. Whether it's like music now, which I thought Hans Zimmer's score was like very different than a lot of his other music too. Very kind of like wild and unpredictable. I don't know. I feel like it fit the world, you know, of this planet and kind of the feeling of the characters. And then, like you said, like the combination of like sometimes it's like really intense. Or you're having this vision, you're hearing all these voices, and then it's like, oh, it's empty and dead silent, or we're just hearing the wind and like the ambient noise. To just depending on what you're supposed to feel, or like the dead silence when the Sadukar, I think that's their name, or how you say it. They're like dropping down like so silently, like in stealth.
Yeah.
Like you just see that. I'm like, that's intense, you know? I feel like you don't want to have like some dumb studio executive come in and be like, oh, blast some music on this building. And it's like, no, shut up and make it intense. Make me feel the moment.
I know. They don't just like put a pop song over it, because like a lot of movies do that.
Yeah.
But like, I appreciate that this one did something very different. And like, even with the editing, like it was quite slow, the movie, in a way. Like, you really lingered on some shots or just added some shots in. Like, even at the very beginning when Jessica told Paul to use the voice, and then you just cut to like this bull statue, and then you cut to like a painting of the grandfather, and then you cut back to him. Like, he really took his time.
Yeah.
And I like that. Like, he wasn't afraid to just cut to nothing, you know? Because like a lot of the time in editing, you're like, if nothing's going on the screen, you have to cut away. Like, that's the rule. Like, you're supposed to like not linger on a shot, really. Like, make sure that it's like quick. So I like that this one, like, no, we're just gonna slow it down a bit. Like, and I think it worked. Like, it worked with this movie. Like, it made the atmosphere feel like how it's supposed to feel, like how the characters feel. Like, sometimes, you know, you feel like a drawn out moment, like it's an intense moment, so you don't have to like do quick cuts. You can just linger and it's okay.
Yeah. No, I think that's an excellent point. That's a really, like, the patience of the filmmaking. I'm so glad you pointed that out, because I don't think I fully appreciated that, but now that you explained it, I'm like, that is why some of those scenes and the pacing worked so well. Yeah, I'm a big fan of the movie. Like I said, I can't wait to read the books and see where that goes. And like I mentioned at the beginning, if you do want to see our full unedited reaction to this movie, that's going to be up on both of our Patreons right now. And if you want to see our reaction to Interstellar, that's going to be up right now on Lexi's channel. The link is going to be in the description. Please head over and check out that reaction. We're about to go watch. I'm sure it's going to be a lot of fun. And until next time, remember, be active, be mindful, and be a hero.